Hi, I'm back on YouTube. When I'm at work, I usually have a lot of thinking time, mainly because I'm down the back of the workshop by myself doing what it is. And with that thinking time, I use that to think about sometimes some stuff about this channel. How can I do this better? Why does TikTok have a 5 hashtag limit that I think is stupid? How come all these people liked a video that I did a couple of weeks ago? And one of those things is the what ifs in supercars. Those things that happen and you go to yourself, oh, what would happen if this happened to this person, that person, and the next person? Don't know if this is going to be a series, it depends how much alone time I have at work, but this is going to be the what if of what ifs. What if for 2001 Craig Lowndes stayed at Holden Racing Team? So for this made up scenario, Craig Lowndes still goes to Triple Eight in 2005, but from 2001 to 2004 he remains at Holden Racing Team. But what happened in real life? Well, in 2001 Craig Lowndes would make the mammoth controversial move to Ford, and he would take Gibson Motorsport along with him. Competing at the front end championships were not expected for Lowndes. Hell, he's running in a Stone Brothers car that they just bought off them, and also he had a teammate that was running in the old colour scan car. So what would he do? Well, in the third race of the championship he would win that. So that reset expectations, but unfortunately that was sort of how the high of the year. One more win to round out 01 and literally the last race of the season, and it was sort of disappointing considering so much hype went into this year, especially towards the end of the year when they had the green-eyed monster debut at Bathurst, which would be his car in 2002, and once again more underperforming. He went winless in his career for the first time, and Double O Motorsport, as it was known now, collapsed basically. They were still a thing in 2003, but just. He would move to Ford Performance Racing in 2003. Bought by ProDrive, the Glen Seaton Racing Team, he would drive the number 6 Caterpillar car. Once again, start out strong, winning a red flagged race at Phillip Island. But unfortunately, for the 2 years he was at Ford Performance Racing, that was the only win he ever got. I'd say the highlights of that tenure was the 2 second places at Bathurst with Glen Seaton. But 2004 was so bad, he finished 20th in points. But what would happen if this low point in his career never happened? Well, starting off, he would have a hell of a lot more success. When you compare the win numbers to his what would then be future teammate Jamie Whincup has 125 wins to go along with Lowndes' 110. I think if Lowndes stayed at Holden Racing Team, he would leapfrog Whincup. Whether or not another championship would be in that cauldron of success is up to debate, but he would actually be quite close, I reckon, at least closer than he was in Ford days before Triple Eight. But what are the other domino effects that would happen in this time? Well, I think Jason Bright would end up going back to Stone Brothers Racing for 2001. Marcus Ambrose was signed to the 4 car quite late. David Bernard was always going to get that number 9 car, but the 4 car, Mark Larkin was trying to get Marcus Ambrose in a second white 10 car, but unfortunately that would never happen. Marcus Ambrose was signed to Stone Brothers quite late, but I think Jason Bright, planning on coming back to V8s after a somewhat average Indy Lights campaign, he would reunite back with the Stone Brothers. For the 2003 season, Todd Kelly would obviously stay in the number 15, but he would pick up a new teammate in 2002, being Rick Kelly, and the Holden Young Lions would remain in going forward from 2002 with the 2 Kelly brothers. One of the unfortunate parts about this what if is I think Romano Racing would close down quicker. If you remember, Paul Romano had that really old VS that used to be this thing before 2001, and he got gifted a HRT Commodore, or went out and got an HRT Commodore in the Holden Young Lions deal that they had for 2001, and that would be his car until 2003. I think for 2001, Romano Racing would either pull out of V8 entirely or jump down to the Konica series with their VS. What about the last major domino, Gibson Motorsport? What happens with them? Well, I think they stay as they are, as a 2-car Holden team with Stephen Richards and Greg Murphy, and they bring the Kmart money still. But if you remember, for 2001, Stephen Richards would join the number 6 team. Well, it was originally Cameron McLean that was meant to get that car. He had a contract that was going to be signed until the announcement that Steven Richards was available. So FTR snapped them up for 2001, and Cameron McLean would end up staying with Paragon Motorsports. But in this timeline, McLean goes to the 6 car. And I think for 2002, Perkins would stay as the 2-car team that they are, with the 8 car with Engel and 11 car with Perkins. And the number 16 car would remain Dougal McDougall, and he did not qualify as many races as he did in 02. But anything past 02, I would have no idea. Does Perkins stay as a 2-car team? Do they keep Engel and keep him in the number 8 car, and Bernard would stay in the number 9 and going into the BA era? And then FPR would end up staying with 2 cars. But who would they have in the number 6 car? Do they have McLean? Do they have someone else? Who knows? So that's the first episode of Supercars What If. Just a simple, fun video that I thought I'd like to do and think about. If you want to see the second episode of What If, whatever it is, give a like and a subscribe. The support would be very much appreciated. Now I'm doing the odd YouTube video here and there. And follow for the next video, which is most likely going to be the Enduro preview.